Okay, well, welcome everybody. Welcome to DreamLink. I call it the Women of Wellness group, although we do occasionally have some guys that pop in here with us as well. And that is totally fine by me. I just happen to know a lot more women who are involved in wellness than I do guys. So, that's kind of the way it is. This is designed to be a meetup group. It's been a meetup group for a long time in the Raleigh-Durham area, but I got actually really excited when Meetup all of a sudden announced that it was going to make it easier for people to do virtual meetings. So because Don and I are traveling around the country, it's much easier for us to do virtual meetings these days. And we're still in Florida. We've been here since December, but we're going to head back to North Carolina next week. We'll be in the Pittsboro area next week, and the week after that, we will be in Clayton. So don't know if we'll be around much longer than that, but it's all good. We're having a good time, and our healing ministry has been extremely interesting over the last 6 or 8 months. So we can't wait to take that to more places and help more people as well. So anyway, we like to run this kind of sort of like a networking group. And so I love to give people an opportunity to introduce themselves. And we know Miss Dori's going to get into some detail for us today. So we'll let her be last on the agenda for introductions. But Rhonda, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
I had to unmute myself. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
And I moved to Colorado, so I've been in Colorado. Yeah, I'm down in Colorado Springs now. I moved here in January of this year.
Awesome. Was that where your mom was closer to there or something? Was that it?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So I live with my mom, and so everything's going pretty well, and it's just a little strange not moving around because I actually travel for my work, and haven't been since January. So I actually I have an engineering degree, and so I work on construction projects as an engineer, and so that's the main purpose in my life. The health though came about because of being such a sick kid growing up with parents that smoked in the house. And so since I've left home, I've spent the last 30 years trying to figure out what works best. And then now I'm in the mode of sharing that information. And so there's 7 things that I recommend that people have in their life. And it's related around about 4 companies that I have niched down and decided that those 4 companies work for me. So anyway, engineering, and then health. If you don't have health, you don't have anything.
Well, right. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. I'm not sure how much Dori intended to say anything about her story, but my goodness, she certainly had quite a comeback story too on the health and wellness thing. So we do understand that, and we welcome you. We're glad you were able to join us today. So Miss Angie, looks like you're next up on my screen. Say hello.
Hey, how are you? Hi, everybody. Hey, Dori. Good to see you. She's kind of next door to me in Fuquay Arena, but I hardly run into her. So I'm Angie. I also have an engineering degree, but I don't use it right now. I use it more to learn, help learn about how plants work and how they help us. So my business is Green Health First, and my passion is to help equip and empower folks to make simpler choices that are all natural to reach their health goals. So whether it's your body, your mental, or your environment, home health, that's what I try to to bring to the table in a number of different resources that I use. But my products, 2 Cups Green Tea Hawaii is my business name for North Carolina, and my Facebook is the same, and I'll put that in the chat. And then also I use essential oil products. So right now, of course, big things like you said, mental wellness. We have had a lot of focus on that this week with products that have been available in a buy one get one free, and then also immunity. So I make my own hand cleaner, and I have that in stores around us in our area of North Carolina here, Raleigh, well, Fuquay, Angier.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, and I'll remind everybody again, please put your information in the chat so that people know how to reach out to you. I'm definitely going to encourage everybody that, you know, if you've ever been in part of a networking group, you know, one of the things that's encouraged is doing one-on-ones with each other and just getting to know each other better and know more about each other's products. Because even though we all may represent different types of health products and such, you know, it's like Rhonda said, you know, she's got different companies she's working with because a lot of different companies specialize in different things. Sometimes you find some really unique products in one company that are not in another. And, you know, those kinds of things can be extremely valuable for us all to know about. So anyway, thank you, Angie. And Ms. Marty, last time you arrived late, so I don't even think anybody even got to really hear from you too much. Please introduce yourself and tell us about what you do.
Okay, yeah, last time I was coming back, I think, from a grocery trip.
That's right.
Right.
Anyway, I'm Marty Sladitsky, and I'm a certified holistic health coach. I'm also a heart math certified coach. And my main focus is women and stress. That has been my focus for quite a while, especially now in these times of the pandemic, and all of us are dealing with stress, and a different kind of stress. This is more of an acute stressor, something that we don't experience all the time, because can any of us remember when there was a pandemic of this proportion? I mean, this is just, you know, I don't think we'll ever see this again in our lifetime. At least I hope we don't. So I help people through heart math to connect with the intuitive guidance of our hearts and to experience positive emotions so that we can renew and increase our energy, get rid of those negative emotions that deplete us, and just get into a state of coherence where our hearts, our minds, and our body are all in sync. And this really puts us into that wonderful state of being where we have the energy, the productiveness, the composure, and the ability to control our emotions. Because we really do have the choice to choose our emotions. And so we want to be choosing positive emotions over negative emotions so that we're not draining ourselves and bringing ourselves down. So that's mainly what I've been doing. I started doing a 35-minute heart math meditation. I'll be doing one next Wednesday night. It's called We Add Heart, and I'll put some information about that. It's a global event that originated in the UK and Ireland, and a few of us coaches in the US are now picking up on it and adding it. So I'm excited to be doing that.
Awesome. I love those group meditations. There's been group prayer circles, there's been group everything. And you know that has an effect on the energy all around us. So I'm always in favor of those kinds of things. So awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here today, Marty.
Thank you.
Helen Betzenhauser, she tells me that she doesn't have a microphone working at this time, but I will just tell you, Helen is coming to us from Oklahoma, and she is working with a healthcare co-op that is an amazing product for individuals that maybe are paying really high health insurance deductibles, or possibly even folks who you know, just don't have insurance right now. And so hopefully, Helen, you can put that information in the chat in terms of at least a link to what you've got there. That's a beautiful thing. And we've seen a number of people recently take advantage of that co-op because you can save quite a bit of money and still get a pretty reasonable healthcare plan that's pretty helpful. So thank you for being here with us, Helen. Ms. Darlene Sattore, say hello, please.
Well, let's see if I can get it. Did I get unmuted?
You're unmuted. Go for it.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm kind of in the midst of retooling myself, reinventing. I am calling this my legacy years of really seriously looking at what do I desire to do for the next 25 years of my life now that I've reached the 75-year mark. And one of the passions that I have right now is to bring the property in the country back to the way it was when we had it in full production as organic gardening and farming here. And so I'm kind of building a team of people that will help to do that have a little bit younger and stronger bodies. And so I can share my expertise from the past and then bring in some of the new things that we know about, like aquaponics and other things that we never knew about before. What is it that we can actually do with solar for our greenhouses? So I'm looking to connect with people who can help to take this 20 acres and make it into a really great village to live in. We're building, the goal is to do little houses out here, RV park, areas where people can use this as a place to visit and learn about, and then take it back home or take and spread it. So kind of like the Johnny Appleseed idea of come and learn and then take it home. And I'd love to do that with everybody else here too. It sounds like you've got a lot of things to share, and I'm eager to learn and see how we can keep making this an ever better world to live in. Of course, that's my dynamic, is creating ideal conditions in which to live. So I'll post my information and let's keep in contact.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yes, and thank you, Darlene. Darlene has quite an amazing program that she has put together in the past out there in Indiana, where she's been helping folks overcome addictions and help to recover from homelessness and just a whole lot of stuff. So good chance we'll be headed back out her way before too long here to help out with some of the projects she's got going on. So, Mary Christensen, I know it's you today. Thank you for being here. Do you have a microphone that works today? I hope you do.
I think so. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. Yay!
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, sorry. Last time I was on the whole time, but I couldn't chat or talk or do anything. Anyway, hi ladies. I'm Mary Christensen, despite the fact that my name shows up as Juby. That's an old AOL handle from years ago, and it still is stuck to every account that I have. Anyway, so when we're not in the COVID-19 pandemic, I am a massage therapist. I am only doing coaching right now, though, because we are not allowed to leave the house and be within 6 feet of other people. It's very hard to massage people without being within 6 feet of them. So as a massage therapist, I help people, mostly women, with, chronic aches and pains, fibromyalgia, acute injuries, all that good stuff. As a coach, I really help you kind of come back to center, figure out what you need, and figure out what your priorities are, not what your kids' priorities are or your husband's priorities for your life, but your priorities for your life. And then I help you figure out how to reach your goals while also juggling the husband, the kids, the job, all that good stuff. So, I wear a lot of different hats, like a lot of people on here, but right now, coaching is all I'm legally allowed to do in our state. So that's what I'm doing right now, our coaching sessions. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad we can hear you today. That's wonderful. And please do make sure you put your contact information in the chat box over here. And I see that Miss Sue has just come on with us, and we're just going around and doing a little introduction. And I don't know what your interest is in the health and wellness arena, but please do say hello and just let us know what brings you here today.
Hello, do you hear me now?
I do.
Well, I was told by Patty that you were going to be coming around helping with the chi and the situation that I'm dealing with. And I know that you're in your mobile home traveling in Florida, and I know you stayed with Patty for a while. And she says, oh, Cheyenne's going to come up and try to help you out, but I haven't seen Cheyenne, but I also am in the Republic too. So I have some issues. I'm dealing with cancer recovery. I'm having issues with fibromyalgia. I have broken bones. I ache everywhere, that kind of thing. And I wanted to actually see you to see if you could help me in any way physically before you went out of the state, but I don't know where you're at right now. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
It's been hard because I'm having all of these chemical treatments for cancer, plus I have to go back for radiation, and I'm constantly nauseous. I'm constantly feeling exhausted and tired, and I'm like, something's got to give. I need to do whatever I have to do to stay positive and to be happy, but it's really hard when you feel like crap most of the time. So it would just be wonderful if I could get some kind of relief in some way, because I ache everywhere and I have broken bones, and it's been really rough physically for me. And the chemicals they give me every 3 weeks just knocks me out on my back.
Wow.
And it's just like for 10 days, I feel like total crap. And then I have 10 days of reprieve, and then I start all over again. And, you know, it's just, so you see why I want to get into the wellness area.
Yeah, I get it completely. Totally.
But, I also like the bio you gave on the Republic, and I'm like, my bio is next week and I can't even compare to you guys.
Well, no, most people are not anywhere near as insane as my husband and I are. So, you know, don't feel bad. We're out here doing stuff nobody else will do. So it's all good. But please, Sue, put your phone number and your email address into the chat box if you can. And if not, then go back and put it in Messenger where you were before. And let's talk offline because we're leaving Florida next Monday. So I don't know if there's any way we can help you before then, but we'll talk about it offline, okay?
That would be wonderful, Cheyenne. And thank you for allowing me. It took me a while. I just finally figured out how to get on. So that's why it took me so long. But it took me a while. I'm like, how do I do this anyway? And the thing is, I'm like, I look like I just got out of a ringer this morning. I said, no, I'll just use my picture without the video because I feel I look so exhausted, and I don't want to portray myself like that on video. I'm trying to, you know, I haven't been able to really pull myself together yet today because I feel like crap. But you know, I do the best I can. That's why I just have my picture. But, you know, I will send you my email and phone number, and I would love to chat more. Thank you for all of your help in advance. Again, I really look forward to working with you in more than one aspect than wellness and everything. I just am really thrilled. I even had, just for you to know, I had Mr. Van Dyne, I think his name is, the gentleman who he did give me some kind of a, I can't even remember his name, but I'll let you know. I got to think about his name again. It's just been really hard just trying to think about little things. But I look forward to it.
We need to move on, my dear. So definitely get that information to me, and I'll be happy to give you some time on the phone and see what we can do.
That would be
Cheyenne.
All right. Yes?
I'm sorry I thought I was at the end of that conversation. So is it okay that the rest of us email her suggestions? Are you okay?
Sure.
Protocol.
Well, and that's why I'm trying to get everybody to put information in the chat here. And, I will download everybody's information. And for sure, if, somebody has something you think that would be helpful for Sue, put it in the chat. And then if Sue can't figure out the chat, at least I'll have the information and I can forward it to her, because this is her first time being on Zoom. So she's still trying to figure out how it all works. But yeah, if anybody has any ideas or suggestions, please put it in the chat and just let me know it's for Sue, and I'll be happy to pass it along. So cool. Well, and as Sue was indicating, my husband and I, we consider ourselves now to be community builders. We're out here on the road to help heal individuals and communities. And so, we, as with some other people on here today, we've been trained by a gentleman named Fred Van Loo, and we are active in using what's called Irks Edna, which is a energetic healing technique that helps people in many different ways. And we've seen some wonderful things where we've been able to help people get back on their feet, back into living again, back into working in their passion and purpose, and some people even back into building teams. So, that's what our healing piece is all about. And we're going to continue with that as long as we can, because we've seen some remarkable changes with folks. So that's kind of what we spend a lot of our time doing. But
Hey, Cheyenne, that's so funny because I just posted Fred Van Loo.
well, there you go. You remember that's how we met, right? We both have Fred in our lives.
Yeah. He's amazing.
He is amazing. And actually he helped a friend of mine up in Tennessee to recover from colon cancer. So he was able to provide some support that helped her in her recovery process. So yes, absolutely. All right. Well, with no further ado, let's go forward and let's hear from Ms. Dori Staehle, also known as the Drum Chick. And Dori, I don't know if you have anything you want to be sharing your screen on or anything of that nature, but at least, whatever you will work for you, it'll work for us.
Yeah, thanks, Cheyenne. Thanks for inviting me here. Once again, we go way back for those of us who didn't know that. But yeah, Dori the Drum Chick here. As you can tell, I'm reporting live from my drum room. I found an unusual way to convert my hobby into not only a viable business, but something that actually helps people focus, feel better, find their joy, and move forward. It's an interactive style of drumming. Okay, what you see behind me, that's what I use for performing mainly, especially, let's see which shoulder, right there, bongos and congas. That's Latin percussion. That's how I started. I started playing in a church band. They needed someone on Latin percussion, and this was a band that rocked. We're not talking hymns here, people. We're talking contemporary Christian rock tunes, and very unusual for a church, cover tunes from like classic rock. Van Halen, AC/DC. If it was clean and it fit the theme, we played it. So we were the flock that rocked.
The flock that rocked.
We had wailing lead guitar and everything. We had a drummer, and then there was me on the percussion kit. So yeah, I did that with that band for about 13 years. But in the very beginning, now keep in mind, I never had any lessons. I'm completely self-taught, and I had absolutely no performing experience. I just signed up to audition with the band. We visited the church and go, oh, look, they're looking for me. And so I signed up, and my husband and our son said, you did what? I signed up to audition. They said, but you don't know how to play. And I said, well, they don't know that. So I showed up and I channeled my inner Sheila E. And it's like, come on, come through the heads, whatever beats I got in my head since I was a little girl, let them come out at the right time so I can stay on the beat. And these guys don't know that I really don't know how to play. And so I passed the audition apparently because it was a Thursday night and they said, we'll see you Sunday. I said, like this Sunday. So yeah, so they had a set list and, we would practice on Thursday night and a little bit on Sunday morning. That was it. It was winging it all the way. I did not read music. I can read music now because I've taught myself how, but I don't I prefer not to. I just hear the beats and the rhythms and I know what to play. So there I was jamming one day at practice and I realized, boy, I really feel good when I'm playing. It was like, ah, it was such a great stress relief because who wouldn't want to whack on a drum? It's something about hand drumming. Yeah, I later taught myself how to play the full drum kit, as musicians call it, drum set is what most people call it, 2 years ago only. So at age 59, I taught myself how to play those. I didn't even have that. I actually had a borrowed set from our worship pastor because somebody signed me up to teach drum lessons. So yeah, all of this was brandy new. Keep in mind, our 2 kids were musicians. I was not. I was the one who booked them and managed them, and also I booked lots of other bands as well. I kept track of all of my concerts, which had multiple bands in them, and it totaled over 900 local young bands and solo artists, and hundreds of shows over an 18-year period. So I was the one that was pushing people to use their gifts, literally sometimes pushing them on stage because I knew that they were really good. They didn't. Well, our kids, you know, they had me, so they knew they were good. But a lot of the young ones that I worked with, they had no idea how good they were. And it was like, oh my gosh, you've got this gift for a reason. And this is just me coming at you with my own personal philosophy. I believe that God has given us all gifts for a reason. We're supposed to use them to bless others. So I'm like one of the few Christian drummers out there. I don't hit anybody over the head with the Bible. I do work with people of all different faiths, but I just let people know that I discovered my gift in a very unusual way. So there I was practicing, saying, okay, stress relief, that's cool. But then I realized it can help you focus. And Cheyenne, you know, makes all jokes about my lack of ability to focus. But I think that ADD is a delightful dreamer. And ADHD stands for a definitely hyper drummer. And I'm both. So I've always seen the positive side of these symptoms. And I've kept hundreds of kids off of stimulants since 1995 because I had another business way back when called Next Stage Educational Services. I was an educational consultant and a private tutor. And I just developed like these exercise techniques to help the kids. We would like stretch out. If they couldn't focus, I'd say, time out, let's stop tutoring, we need to stretch a bit. I didn't know that I was doing something called brain integration. I didn't know anything about that. And I didn't know anything about crossing midline and all the stuff that special ed teachers knew. I just kept developing different techniques, later applied it to drums. Because my teens that I was working with, I thought, you know, they don't want to do stretch out exercises to music. That's kind of lame. What can I give them that would be really cool that they would actually use in high school, college, and beyond? And I said, hang on a second. I happen to have a few of these. So we sat together and we drummed together using special techniques that I use for focusing. Again, it was all brain integration. And I told them I don't play like this. So, you know, I don't usually move my hands this way when I'm playing. Although on the bongos, yeah, you move your hands a lot. But generally not. I said, we're just doing this for fun. Let's see if it works. So I had a couple of tutoring students who agreed to be my guinea pigs. And they were the ones that, now keep in mind, all of the students that I worked with, I would say, again, hundreds of students for 20 years, I think. Yeah, at least 20 years worth. Hundreds of students, most of them I figured out were extremely bright, but nobody bothered to check. Everybody wanted to put them on meds right away. And nobody bothered to check that they had really high IQs. If you have a really high IQ, you tend to be super creative as well. They were all right brain dominant, okay? So this is where the science is coming in. Your left brainers, those are your actuaries, your accountants, your extremely logical, analytical, step-by-step types. Just the facts, ma'am. That's a left brainer. A right brainer is more like, oh, bright, shiny thing. Oh, what? No concept of time, extremely creative, but generally has all of these ideas and what I call static in the attic. They can't focus worth beans. They tend to not only can they not set goals, they don't finish things. They second guess themselves a lot. They tend to be perfectionists, and they really are very, very hard on themselves. So they go to school and teachers start thinking this kid has a learning disability, when in reality, the kid just learns differently. School is extremely left-brained institution taught by left-brained individuals, mostly. Not all teachers. And we have some creative ones out there. Hallelujah. I wish I could clone them. But for the most part, you know, and you have to be, you've got to be organized and sequential to be a teacher. You got to keep the classroom focused and, you know, classroom management and all that stuff. But when you've got somebody who can't even sit still like me, it's like, you want me to sit on a hard chair all day? We can't do it. If you notice that most of the kids with ADHD traits, most of them are boys, all the ones that I worked with, except for a couple of girls. There's girls out now that are self-identifying, or people are finding them because they're more of like, they can't focus. Very few are hyper like me, but some are. We can't sit still because most of us are, I gotta show you my arms here, are extremely thin because we burn calories like crazy because we're always moving. Don't put a skinny person with no body fat on a hard chair for 6 to 8 hours a day in a classroom and expect us to sit still. It's uncomfortable. So if we're always going like this, we don't mean to, it's like, ow, it hurts. Number one. Number two, I have a young friend who had a shirt, I'm not ADD, you're just boring. I mean, and it's true. We click off when it's like, okay, not interested, click. And we're trying to pay attention, but it's really hard because we'd rather be somewhere else, doing something else. So yeah, so I taught these kids special brain integration techniques. We drummed together for only 5 or 10 minutes. We were working on SAT prep at the time. I know Cheyenne loves the story, so I'm throwing it in there. Yeah, I was like an SAT math tutor and everything else. These kids were not doing well on their homework assignments, and there it was, all these SAT prep questions, and they were just like 40% accuracy rate. They weren't getting any of them right, and they usually were fine. And I said, what's going on today? Here's the key that transcends beyond teens to adults. They were stressed out. Stress, as I discovered in my theory known as the gifted ADHD connection, which turned into a 20-year personal study with loads of case studies, personal research, loads of case studies. Stress turned out to be the #1 trigger for ADHD symptoms. So anybody who's under a lot of stress is going to appear scattered, stressed out, and they tend to they don't know what to focus on. So a lot of people are facing that right now under COVID-19 because it's a high anxiety, high stress levels. People are panicking. How am I going to make any money if, my shop's closed down or my business is taking a hit? Kids are like, what do I do? Teachers are sending assignments, but they don't really have good time management techniques. So I check in with them. So what have you been doing since you've been home? Oh, Miss Dori, I got this great video game. I was on it for 8 hours yesterday. I'm like, oh, dude, seriously? Good use of time. Did you work on any of these things that I gave you to work on at all? Yeah, well, kind of, sort of. Yeah, exactly. So what I'm doing now is strictly drum therapy. There is such a thing. It's totally different from a drum lesson. A drum lesson, I usually use sticks and either a drum pad or the drum kit. And a drum lesson, you're learning beats and what they call drum rudiments. And you're learning how to play the song of the week. Because I always give my students, I have some adults too, song of the week. That's all it is. You're learning how to play music so that you can play the drum parts like the drummer in the song. Drum therapy is totally different. That is more intentional. I'm creating special beats and rhythms that are based on whatever the person is experiencing. So it's completely individualized and it's completely science-based. Can you blow off steam and focus a little better when you're playing back there in the full drum set? Oh yeah, it's loads of fun. Not quite the same though, because, wait for it, drum roll please, sound waves. The sound waves come through a hand drum, like this is a little baby djembe. You notice how my drums always match my outfit, Cheyenne, huh? Color coordinated. I have lots of different colors for sale on my website. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Boom, boom, ching. Don't forget to tip your wait staff. Hey, I'll be here all week. Anyway, try the meal. Yeah, so hand drums work well, but I had to take it one step further. Here comes a very quick version of my accident story. In 2011, June 25th of 2011, at approximately 3:30 in the afternoon, I was run over by a speeding bicyclist. We're talking a 10 speed, not a Harley, not a forklift, completely taken for a loop, literally. He went through a crowd of 200 people. I was the only one who was hit. In the middle of the day, outside in the middle of nowhere in a courtyard. I was working at a job involving sales and marketing. We were entertaining clients at a reception. Okay, we were having snacks, people. What did he miss? Snack table, people talking, milling about, right through the crowd, right through the middle of the crowd. And there was a little gap of a lane that he could have gone through, but why he chose that and didn't go behind the building, I don't know. I guess he saw, okay, I can fit through, but I made the mistake of stepping into the gap because somebody called my name. Dori, can you come over here? I need to ask you a question. Stepped forward, heard from my coworker behind me, Dori, look out. And in 30 seconds, my life completely changed. I did not know that I was severely injured because I didn't know that I was in shock. I never hit the ground, so I didn't think nothing was broken. I knew that. I did not know that they would be after effects that not only went on for days or weeks, caused me to quit the job 3 months later because I couldn't do it, and I thought I would be fine. 3 years of dealing with doctors, physical therapists, and lots of other specialists who told me, and a chiropractor was good though. He helped out quite a bit, but then I kind of, plateaued. And the pain levels were getting worse. I didn't know why. And then I asked for an MRI. And they said, what do you think you're going to find? It's been 3 years. Thank goodness the insurance company was still paying the bills and still working with me. I said, we need to find out what this is. You have to realize you're talking to somebody who figured out the underlying issues that cause ADHD symptoms long before anybody else did, just saying. And so I have that kind of brain where if there's a missing puzzle piece, I need to figure out what it is or it's going to drive me nuts. So I was on my own doing my own research, and I went for the MRIs. They showed cysts all over my spine. And the note said Tarlov cysts. Looked it up online, which you should never look up your symptoms online because, it's awful. You think the worst. So apparently I had a rare neurological degenerative disorder known as Tarlov, T-A-R-L-O-V, Tarlov cyst disease, named after a Russian scientist. So I'm thinking, great, now what? I got something that's going to get progressively worse. I was having numbness in my shoulder, my legs, my back was killing me, excruciating pain in my tailbone. Couldn't sit, stand, move, bend, do anything without severe pain. I was a mess. And here I'm thinking, this is awful. They don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, but that's when I asked God. I'm going there. So I just asked God, give me a solution. Because I can't go on like this. I'm good for nothing right now. I am not helping anyone. I'm not making any money. I'm not helping out with the family finances. And I can't serve people and go out there with all of my drums, which by this point, I had enough drums and percussion instruments for about 40 people. Now I think I have enough for about 60. Thanks to generous benefactors, and I kicked in some money myself. I had all this gear. And I thought, I can't even take my drums out because I can't move. And that's when God, the very, very, very quiet whisper, when I said, what do you got? He said, Dori, open your eyes. So I'm sitting there with my eyes closed. I'm crying like a baby. He said, open your eyes. I already did. Use the drums. And I went, oh, duh. The plumber always has a leaky faucet, right? So here I am going out. I had been drumming with people. I had been seeing results, or they had been telling me about results a couple of days after a session or a group class. And I thought, that's funny. Yeah, I kind of didn't think anything of it. I thought anybody can do this. It's the sound waves. There are multiple studies that have been done by numerous organizations. I went for training with a company called Health Rhythms. And Dr. Barry Bittman is a neuroscientist, and he did a lot of these studies seeing how drumming would help different conditions. It's been used in the hospitals with cancer patients. He discovered that it boosts T cell production. You know, what goes after those bad cells? So we produce more positive vibes. So we're not saying that drumming is a cure for cancer. We're just saying it can kind of slow things down. It's been used with people with PTSD, depression, TBIs, or traumatic brain injury, which it turned out that I had. I had a whiplash, concussion, you name it, I had it. And so I thought, oh gosh, maybe there's something to this beyond the sound waves, even, because I was seeing results sometimes instantly. So whenever people in the drumming community were saying, oh, Dori, anybody can do that, you know, we all have training for that. I'm like, hang on a second. None of the studies showed either instant results or out a short amount of time. They were 6 to 10 week protocols working with a control group for 45 minutes to an hour each time. I drummed for my life, literally, for only 2 weeks, 15 minutes to a half an hour, maybe 4 or 5 days a week, and I was totally fine. Everything was gone. So then I wanted to know, how do we do that? You know, the science geek in me, because we homeschooled our kids, and I became really, really fascinated with science. So they used to call me the mad scientist. So what I did was a lot of my own personal research. How do the sound waves work? Okay, so you've got certain drums that, you know, different sizes. They're going to produce different tones. As you probably know from different musical instruments, produce different frequencies. Different frequencies promote healing. So it's throughout the Bible. You might have heard of David's harp. I think it's 414 or 417. You know, there's certain frequencies that the vibrations of those strings with the harp or whatever vibrates through the body. And we busted up the cysts with the sound waves. So if anybody's had any surgery, I've had some ultrasound surgeries, 2 of them in fact, and a laser surgery. What is that? Oscillating sound waves. And I thought, I got your oscillating sound waves right here. I had to go, well, New Jersey on you there. But yeah, it's true. So you take a buffalo drum, for example, which does not sound good on the microphone on Zoom. So I'm going to tap it really lightly. You know, it's got some good vibrations there too. And I've used that with people. I have some very special spiritual gifts that I have discovered that happen when I drum with people. I can see things. I know what areas of the body need to be worked on. It's actually God and the Holy Spirit that tell me, stay right there. If it's a group of people, I always know, stay right here. It's this one. They don't have to tell me anything. Sometimes I can tell how they're feeling by the way they drum. I ask them to describe how you're feeling on the drum. So we will work through depression, anxiety. I will know to stop when I sense there's pain on this person's side and all. And so the vibrations help go through your body. It's like chiropractic without the cracking. And you could literally feel it. And when you're drumming together, the more people that are drumming, the more vibrations you are creating. So I am all about good vibrations, and even wrote a book, Find Your Divine Rhythm, because this was divinely inspired. There is no doubt, because I discovered more things that I'm thinking, I don't know if that's out there or not yet. So I'm working on some extra stuff. I'll just give you a little nudge, nudge, wink, wink on that. My first book was called Find Your Divine Rhythm. The second one's going to be Rise Up and Rock, Activating Your God-Given Gifts and Purpose. So yeah, so I experimented now, drum padded drumsticks, again, great for lessons, but you know, I'll tip this forward. It doesn't create a whole lot of sound waves. It's pretty dull, you know, it's plastic. So I do have specialized training. I'm the one and only certified drum therapist in North Carolina and probably the South, with a worldwide organization known as Drums and Disabilities, because that's my specialty. I work with a lot of kids on the autism spectrum, definitely your ADHD type kids, but they all have what I call a combination. It's almost like, you know, Chinese menu, 1 from column A, 2 from column B. They're my combo kids. I have to not only figure out brain integration techniques and what we can do to help to boost the cognitive capabilities, but a lot of them have coordination issues. Some of them have, like, maybe the right side is numb. We got to work on that. Some of them have memory issues and auditory processing. Well, that's really, really hard one, where I will say one thing and they will hear another. I worked with a lot of kids in my tutoring business who had this. So that's a tougher one, but the kids who are suffering from anxiety and depression, those are the ones I want to work with the most, the kids and the adults, because I not only drum with them, I give them positive affirmations, I give them tips and tricks where they can focus and feel better, and also understand not only, who they are and what they bring to the world, but whose they are. I want them to know that you are here for a reason and you better not give up. And if you're going through anything, you better text me or call me right away and I will talk you off that. I will talk you through it, because they just don't understand their value. And they just think that, there's something wrong with them because society have told them that they have this mysterious disorder called ADHD, which, by the way, used to be called minimal brain dysfunction. There's nothing wrong with our brains. They're just on overdrive. And so we have to figure out ways to slow down that process so you can be in the now. Anxiety is dealing with what's going to happen, and you can't control it, but they worry about it anyway. Depression is what happened in the past that they can't change. So I have to get them to release all that. So there's emotional benefits, there's physical benefits, and there's certainly cognitive and academic benefits to this. So it's the frequency and the sound waves that penetrate your body and help realign and recalibrate everything. I always joke, it's kind of like your GPS. You've been recalibrated, my friend. There you go. I like to use the one with the British accent because it's cooler. But yeah, it can actually repair cells. They have documented medical studies and research. I've got a lot of this on my website. If you go to my drum therapy page especially, I have links. There's a guy by the name of Peter Scheer, Scheer. He's compiled an amazing list of articles. I've sent him some, and research studies on his website, Rhythm Research Resources. I think I helped him out with that. I'm great with helping people with branding and taglines and things. So yeah, like I mentioned, the Health Rhythms Organization, they've got a lot of links to their studies. Drums and Disabilities, that's called the DAD program, DAD program.org. If you click that one, it says right there, the healing art of drum therapy. So if anybody thinks that this is woo-woo or something that I made up, it's been around for about 10 years. So it is relatively new. Most people think they know what it is. They think I do drum circles. That would be a no. I don't do African or shamanic drumming. There's nothing tribal. I don't do tribal beats. Again, I'm a Christian rock chick, so we're going to close out with a rockin' tune. And I just come from a different place, that's all. So my terminology, my techniques are different than a lot of the people out there. So does anybody have any questions for me? Do you want me to drum a bit? Tried to cover it really quickly because I know you said I only had 20 minutes. How did I do?
You did well. You covered a lot of territory. We thank you so much. Thank you. It looks like Angie might have unmuted. Did you have something, lady?
No, I just wanted to thank her for sharing again. I've heard her main story before with the accident, but not some of the others. So thank you, Dori. You have some amazing gifts that you share, and I know it does make a huge difference for many of those that are willing to give it a try.
Well, it's also a ministry for me too. So
yeah,
I do have different components. I have specialized training with at-risk youth, and the drum ministry is actually got some interest finally from a local church. So I might be doing more with that as well. Like I said, I had a woman who was suffering from depression for many, many years. One session, it blew my mind. Wow. It was a group thing too. It was like, so, I cannot guarantee instant healing, and some people are stubborn, and you have to be willing to receive. You have to be open to trying something new.
Yes.
And you have to stick with it. Most of these guys and gals, I do make them practice at home, either with, a lot of them buy a drum from me, or they might have something already at home. That's cool. But yeah, the more you do it, the better you feel, and it's like preventative maintenance.
Wow, awesome. Anybody else? Any questions or comments for Dori? I've seen her in action. I've seen her bring kids from total chaos and running all over the place to getting into a much more focused space and being able to function a lot more in a lot more healthy manner. It's good stuff that she's doing. And what ran through my mind, I remember you were at Single Women with Children the night Jessica was supposed to be speaking, and everything got derailed that night. But I was curious, did you ever get to chat with her?
I'm on standby. That's all I know. She and I have talked, and she goes, "Oh, I know how to find you. You don't go anywhere, girl. I'm gonna be calling you." So yeah, she and I will work together, I'm sure, at some point in time,
Well,
because she has a big, big heart for youth and helping them and suicide prevention and all that. So
yes, you definitely need to be working with her. And I'm assuming I've got a friend here in Florida that I met with a couple of months ago briefly, and she's got a daughter at home that she has to homeschool and such. She's really quite a challenge on the autism spectrum. I mean, but you could still, you know, virtually be able to work with and help somebody.
yes, as long as they have something to work with on their side. If they don't, then it's considered drum healing. And I have done that as far away as France, where I drummed for the person, and I said different affirmations, and I also gave them messages that God wanted them to hear. So they knew it wasn't from me. God's telling me to tell you that, and it made them feel better, and the vibrations and just the whole process. So that's different. But for drum therapy, it is interactive. So you do need to, be willing to drum with me, because I want them to move their hands, because the more that they drum, it's a real body-mind connection. I was trying to explain this to a mom just yesterday, of how drumming can really open up the neural pathways so that they not only listen better to their teachers and parents, because when you've got ADD traits, it's like la la la, not listening, you're all over the place, and they're like, oh, focus, and what was that you just said? So they misinterpret things a lot, and they don't follow directions well because they miss so much. So I told her that the connecting everything through drumming is way more than just, can the kid keep a beat? If you can, it makes it really even more fun for me, because we always close out with a song of some sort that they like from whatever rock group or pop or whatever. I don't do rap. I just don't. It's got to be clean, and it's got to be a positive kind of thing. I have a great playlist with positive, upbeat contemporary songs, everything from Imagine Dragons to Katy Perry to Journey, Don't Stop Believing. You name it, I'll play it, as long as it's clean. So yeah, they have to have something on the other side that they can work with me, because it definitely helps ground them. And they're like, oh, and we do deep breathing techniques, focusing. I'll have them close their eyes. We'll walk through things so that they can visualize positive outcomes.
Awesome. Very good. Well, thank you so much, Dori. I always am fascinated to learn a little more about what goes on behind this. I've certainly seen you work your magic, and it's a good thing. But I appreciate hearing more about the details of it as well, and hope some others will too. Yeah. And I definitely, if you have not put your contact information in the chat, please do. I think almost everybody has, but I see Mary disappeared on us again. So. And I don't think her information got it in here. I'm trying to even remember what her website is. I'd put it in here, but at the moment it's not coming to me. So, not good. But anyway, I just wanted to reiterate again, if you're here, if you're into health and wellness, and if you have interest in trying to make this into a little bit more of a collaborative group, I'm really visualizing, I'm really putting the intention out there that there should be a healing program going on in the Raleigh-Durham area for sure, but in other places as well, that can help people to cope with some of this trauma that they're experiencing with the quarantine. And I want to be able to find ways to fund a program so that people can come to it, whether they have the ability to pay or not, because this is a thing that drives me nuts. It has forever and ever. Every single person who's here is an amazing healer in their own right. You've got tools, you've got techniques, you've got products that are not covered by health insurance. And to me, that's just wrong, that there's so many people that need the kind of alternative and complementary services that are represented here. And yet, you know, they'll be locked out from it because they don't necessarily have the funds to pay for it. So that's what I'm working on, is finding ways to put funds together to be able to do that. And I just need to hear from you guys if you would like to have your products and services included in a healing program that I'm working on putting together in the Raleigh area. My email and I don't know if I put my phone number in there. I don't think I did. Yes, I did. My phone number, my email, and my website are all in the chat. So if you have not saved the chat, please go down there to the bottom right corner of the chat. You'll see 3 little dots that say more, and if you click on that, you should see save chat. And so you can save that chat and be able to save everybody's information that's in here. And, you know, I'm praying that you'll be inspired to get to know each other a little bit more. Even if you're out of town, that's quite all right, because heck, I never know where I am. It's always somewhere else at this point. But, you know, again, I will be headed back up to Raleigh next week. We'll be there for a couple of weeks at least. If there's anything I can do for anybody while I'm there, please let me know. And Sue and I will definitely be chatting. If you know, can take advantage of each other's products or services, please consider that. Learn more about each other. And 2 weeks from today, we will be back here with an opportunity for somebody else to do a presentation. In fact, that's probably a good question right now. Is there anybody on the line right now that would like to be able to do a presentation 2 weeks from today?
I'll be glad to.
Yeah, okay. Now wait a minute. I want to see. I just see John and Tegan raised hand. Now you guys don't have to raise your hand. Just unmute yourselves, for gosh sake. This ain't quite a classroom. What were you guys wanting to say? I can't get you unmuted. You got to unmute yourself.
I'd be happy to too, Cheyenne.
Okay. Okay. Well, we got a lineup here. So, so John and Tegan, what were you trying to say?
Well, the drumming we're very interested in, and we just wanted a website so we could contact her, because it seems like a unique process. Also with the vibrations and so forth, everything is energy is everything. So if she got a vibrational frequency that allows to unblock problem areas, well, we definitely want to jump on that one.
Well, and that's why I'm telling everybody to save the chat, because her information is in here. Her website is nextstagedrumming.com. So you can definitely get to her through that, nextstagedrumming.com. But save the chat and you'll have everybody's information. So, okay, that's cool. And so Marty, did you want to take the stage in 2 weeks?
Yeah, I would love to.
Okay. Good deal. And then who was the other person? Heck, we could go and say you could be 4 weeks from today.
It was me, Angie.
Okay. All right. Could you do that 4 weeks from today?
Let's see. That would be what?
You're asking me difficult questions.
May 22nd.
1, 2, 3. Yes, that's what it sounds like it would be.
That's the start of Memorial Day weekend.
Oh Lord. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's hope that we get to do something with Memorial Day. Who knows?
Do you think that would be a good day for me to plan on, or should we plan another weekend, another week, maybe the following 29th?
I will leave that up to you right now, considering, you know, if people are still being encouraged to stay at home, you know, it might be a really good day for it. But we'll see. We can let that float for a bit. But yeah, Marty, we'll plan on you 2 weeks. So that would be May
8th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Cheyenne, is this program every on Fridays at this time?
Every other Friday. Yep. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you all for being good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you could come, and I hope you'll come back and see us again.
Thanks, Cheyenne.
All right. You guys have a great weekend.
Thanks, you too.
Bye-bye.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Thanks, Cheyenne.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye, everyone. Bye, Cheyenne.